Lust is tricky. Lust is very normalized and it kills your energy, it sucks your purpose out, and it can honestly ruin your life. And I've looked like on the outside everything was great, but on the inside I was a slave to lust. And I want to talk to you in this video about how I broke free and how you can too. Because lust is very normalized in our society. Everybody watches porn. And everybody's hooking up with everybody. And in every TV show you've ever watched, there's some sex scene, and now they're gay. So things are getting really perverted and twisted in our society, and we're getting accustomed to seeing this all the time. You go to the gym, the girls are naked. I mean, this is like happening everywhere. It's so normalized. And so when I was a young kid, when I was 12 years old, I started to get exposed to this stuff, and it started to become really normal. And when I hit puberty, I was naturally always into girls, but when you have pornography in the mix, it makes everything accelerated. The maturity around how you should be sexually developing goes faster. It goes 1,000 times faster because it's normalized, and you're consuming visually this garbage, this nonsense, this junk, frying your dopamine in your brain, ruining your masculinity. I mean, I can go on and on about this, but when I was 12, I got exposed. When I was a teenager, everything kind of kept expanding. I went to college, I went to a party school. It's so normalized. Another thing that's really important as well, when you're a man, women are a status symbol, right? Getting girls is a status symbol. And so when that is the culture, subconsciously it motivates you even more to pursue girls at all costs, to pursue hookups and dates and whatever it is, because you want to be impressive and you want to have respect and you want to have status with your peers. And so you have all of these factors going in, pushing you towards lust, really pushing you towards lust. Here's where I started to wake up to the fact that maybe this is not actually helping my divine purpose of why I should be existing in life and fulfill my potential, which I think is the most important thing a human being could possibly do. Fulfill your potential. Do not waste time. I started to wake up. I started to see videos about retention and nofap and all of this sort of stuff, and I was like, that's interesting. So I tried it. I tried it for a few days. I'm like, wow, I feel a lot better. Like my brain feels a lot better. Because it used to be a very regular activity, like it is for 99% of people. So I stopped and I'm like, oh, I do feel better. Interesting. Okay, maybe this is actually how I'm supposed to feel. But what happened was my body was so addicted to the act and to sex that it wasn't a clean break. Like I didn't watch one of these videos and then I fully defeated lust. And because that's not realistic. And so it took years, quite literally times of celibacy, times of not, long-term relationships, being single. And what makes it more difficult is I would rationalize in my own mind why I should keep doing it. Like I was like, well, if every guy had all the options and could do this, they would be doing it. Is that true? Probably to some degree, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because it's a void. It's an empty void. Casual indulgence of intimacy and sex drains the manpower out of you. It's your life force. It's the God within you. It's the force that makes you more charismatic, confidence, cognitive functioning, physical ability. Everything goes up when you have control over your life force. Everything. And so of course, the people that built society, that are propagating all these things, know that. So they want you weak. They want us all weak, right? And so they want us releasing our life force all the time. All the time. The more the better. Because the weaker we are, the better. That's how society is built, unfortunately. And so when you learn these things, you really start to think about why things are the way they are. And so I started to have awakenings about this stuff. And so I would go in and I would go out. Like I would be back and forth on this. I would know that this is the right path because I have more energy and I feel better and I have more attention towards my purpose, and I'm not chasing women. I'm not spending time on apps. I'm not spending time talking to them. No offense. I'm not spending all of this precious conscious power and then releasing my physical life force for nothing. And I would go back and forth though, because I was addicted. But here's the problem. And here's what I really had to come to terms with. I had been grappling with this for a very long time. because I knew in my heart one way of living was correct, but I was doing another way. And I'm sure a lot of you guys have been there in a various amount of different things, whether it's drinking, whether it's partying, whether it's any bad habit, really. In your true heart, in your true mind, you know you shouldn't be doing it, but something still draws you to it. And so I'm like, what is the root cause of lust and this? Like this part, what is the root cause? And it wasn't the desire. It was more around a couple of things. It was filling a void, which is what every addiction vice does. It fills a void. And so whether it's lust or whether it's alcohol or whether it's partying, you're filling a void with this self-destructive activity. The void for me was I live alone, I work at home, I don't get a ton of social interaction if I'm not consciously about it, which I have been more of. And so part of my big social interaction was hanging out with girls, and these things naturally followed. And I'm not going to go obviously into too much detail, but this just kind of happened. Like, these things kind of happen when you hang out with a ton of girls. This just kind of happens. And so one of the really root causes for me, and these are hard questions you have to ask yourself. These are very hard questions you have to grapple with in terms of your actual true behavior. Because when you get to the root cause, you can actually change the root cause and remove it by doing other things to heal the root cause that aren't harming you. And so the root cause, one of them, was lacking social interaction. I was a little lonely. And so my social interactions came from a ton of girls. Okay, that's root cause one. Root cause two was the ego of status in society. It was getting tons of girls makes me cool. Every guy wants them, so I'm going to do it. It's valid to a degree, but it's not, because this is not how I should be living my life, and I can't live my life to the worldly ego of my own mind. When you do that, you're screwed. And it was a combination of the physical addiction that transpired, the dopamine that your brain gets addicted to, by the way. Your brain is very interesting. It's very malleable. And when you go on an app, for example, myself, when I went on a dating app, and in 1 week I had like 100 matches, my dopamine was so fried from all this random attention. And most guys are saying, wow, that's the dream. It's not the dream, dude. It's not the dream. It's not the dream because it's getting you nothing. Like, your standard, what you should be going for with all of your time and energy is fulfilling your potential, is mastery. It's working on your craft. It's building. It's creation. The worldly, like chasing women, I wasn't chasing, to be clear, but like the women's side is worldly. It's low frequency. It's low vibration. It's not what you should be spending your time on. No matter how quote unquote impressive it seems, it's a waste of time. My potential on earth is not to get matches. And it sounds silly when I say it out loud, but it's true. And so we get caught up in this ego high, right? Of like all this attention, all this, all that. Everyone else would be doing it, quote unquote excuses, but it's a void. Because you leave it after casual experiences and you're like, what was the point of that? What was the point of that? There was no point. It actually does more harm than good. So with all of these things, I finally found the root cause. I was like, okay, this is my behavior. These are the subconscious reasons why I am going towards this. Here's how I broke it. I had to understand how precious time is. Time is going by whether we like it or not. And I don't want to waste my life. Like, ask yourself, do you want to waste your life doing things that aren't fulfilling your potential? The answer should very clearly be no. And everybody knows this, but nobody asks themselves this. And everybody knows this, but nobody actually makes a change. And so why it took me years to change is all the reasons I mentioned, but it doesn't matter how long it took me because I'm here. The second thing it did is once I fully realized how amazing I can feel from attention, I said, this is a no-brainer. This is a no-brainer, especially because the majority of my business and how I create is on camera, where I need to be as charismatic, as confident as possible. I also came to the realization that the confidence, and by the way, I still go up to women, I still, conversate with women. All of that is very normal. Obviously, I'm a man. But there's a difference, right? There's a line between overindulgence and a healthy balance. And so what it also does for my energy, for my aura, for my charisma, is when I'm retaining, women like sense this. They like know when you are doing this. They feel your energy. And so everything is much more natural in person. Like, no more swipes. I'm just in person having interactions whenever I want. It's very easy and it works all the time. So I feel amazing. And I think the most important thing too, from a confidence perspective, is I am not at the mercy of anything anymore, which is so liberating. Especially something that is very hard to break. Very. I'm not talking if you're an incel, okay? Like, maybe porn is hard for you. For somebody that has options, it's very difficult to really break this routine, this activity, this behavior, because it's very easy to indulge. And having the confidence that I have that level of self-mastery, that ability to have discipline and say no and walk away from things, is very empowering. Very, very empowering. It makes me feel really great about who I'm becoming, about who I am, about how I can impact the world. If I can say no to this, I can definitely do certain things in the world and help certain people. It's a lot of information I just threw at you. I think it's very important to understand something, that the underlying question you should always be asking yourself is, how do you want to live your life and how do you want to spend your time? For me, it's very simply, I want to fulfill my potential. I want to be great. I want to do a lot of things. Seeking the worldly, filling a void with women does not get me there. It doesn't get you there. The only way to get there is to allocate your time towards things that do, and to have self-mastery and discipline to say no to everything else.